Give me a second here. Can't see me very well there. That better? A little bit better. Not that. It's even better. I keep spinning around like a rotisserie chicken here. I don't want the sun in my eyes, but looks like that's the best angle for people to actually see me. So, there we go. Welcome back to the program. This is Chris in central Pennsylvania. Turns out, apparently the most significant state in all of the United States for this election. So I'm going to have a little difficulty here seeing the screen. So who we got there? Pablo Charlie's here. Welcome, Pablo. Yeah, boy, the sun is really bright. It hasn't risen high enough now that it's over the tree, which comes later in the morning. But anyway, I'll try to turn an angle where I can at least see the screen a little bit better. There we go. So, smearing Donald Trump. You know, we've become accustomed in presidential election cycles for what's known as the October surprise. And typically it's something being held back. George Bush, they tried to smear him as a coward who avoided the draft when in fact he was in the Texas Air National Guard. So then they tried to bring an October surprise against George Bush, claiming that he didn't do this, he didn't do that. And it turned out just to be a bunch of nonsense. Who else we got there? Welcome, folks. Sorry. Robert, Valerie, Garrett. Hey, guys, the usual suspects from the other channel. Thanks for coming over. So they tried to smear George Bush. So this has happened for decades, the October surprise. The opponent comes out, and it's usually it's the Democratic Party that does it. Not exclusively, but usually it's them. So the October surprise this year, actually from my perspective, up until a couple days ago, was that the Democratic campaign was just so inept. Kamala Harris making dumb mistake after dumb mistake, skipping the Al Smith dinner, then insulting Christians by telling someone that they're at the wrong rally. Just utter nonsense, stupidity. The Molly Shannon, Saturday Night Live, Mary Catherine nonsense. That was very insulting to people of faith. And just not the smartest thing you want to do. Pissing off Arabs, pissing off Muslims, pissing off Jews, pissing off Christians. She's really accomplishing a lot at pissing people off. And the October surprise for me has just been how inept the campaign is. I'm not surprised that she's imploding and that the blue wall is collapsing. The Democrats' blue wall of retaining the battleground states is falling apart on them. I'm not surprised by that at all, because there's nothing to the candidate. She has nothing. She can't articulate a policy position. She can't articulate anything. I mean, if she went to see her gynecologist for an appointment and the journalist caught her outside the office, so how does your visit go with the gynecologist? Her response would be, but Donald Trump has been running for 9 years. That's what she would say. So it's not a surprise. However, there have been October surprises directed at Donald Trump. Gosh, that sun is wicked. My goodness, right in my face. Maybe I can turn this way. Man. I'm a little dark now, so my apologies if I'm going to try it this way. How's that? That's not much better. Let me try it like this. Yeah, that's better. There we go. You can see me a little bit better. Man, oh man, that sun is wicked, just frying on my face there. So yeah, nice to get the tree there, a little building in the background. There's clouds there. All right, and you can't still see me. So the October surprise, of course, have been a whole litany of things, and just many things implausible. Bob Woodward's usual smear tactics with his book introduced just in time. But listen, I understand why Bob Woodward does it. Bob Woodward's trying to make money and trying to stay relevant in the conversation. So Bob Woodward will release a book late in the game, attacking Donald Trump. Not a surprise. He's done it to Republicans for years. He's trying to time his book for the most opportunity for success, which is right before the election. But no doubt also trying to interfere with the elections and get an outcome that suits his political desires. So the Bob Woodward book, which makes ludicrous claims about Donald Trump, that's followed up by a whole bunch of other things. We have this Atlantic article now, which is nothing but a pure smear against Donald Trump. Just watch news. Are people so optimistic? Who is optimistic about BRICS? Nobody's optimistic about BRICS to my knowledge. I don't know what you're talking about. So let me get through my point here, and we'll answer the questions. So we've got a couple articles in the Atlantic. The number one, we got the article in Atlantic falsely proclaiming, because of John Kelly's book, that Donald Trump would like his generals to be like Hitler's generals. Well, that's a stupid thing on the face of, because Hitler's generals plotted against him multiple times to assassinate him. So I don't think Donald Trump wants that. Also, many of Hitler's generals were not competent, and Hitler did what he wanted. So I guess what they're trying to say is that they want pliant generals that will do what Trump wants. I don't know. Anyway, it's just utter nonsense. It's a smear. And then on top of that smear, we have this nonsense about Donald Trump's supposed reaction in the Situation Room or in the West Wing to the American soldier who was brutally murdered by another soldier and his girlfriend at Fort Hood. a horrible situation. And that's a situation in which they've lied completely about this, everything happening. So you have to ask yourself, why did the Atlantic run this story this close to the election when they know their credibility to be completely blown out? Every single person in the room, the attorney, the sister of the slain soldier, the family members, those present, Mark Meadows, the chief of staff, everybody present for the conversations that the Atlantic article claims took place, denies every bit of it and says it's all fabricated. In addition, the attorney and the sister both come out and complain about how the Atlantic misled them and reporting things that they didn't say, and also the context was inappropriate. So this is ridiculous. What are they trying to accomplish here? Well, they're trying to demean Donald Trump. Everything they've done, attempts to murder him twice, the false lawsuits against him for criminal activity that is not criminal activity. It's just absolutely ridiculous what has been going on here, and they just don't stop. So the October surprise will continue to come. I'm sure we'll hear from some OnlyFans account that'll claim that Donald Trump did blow with them and urinated on them in some hotel in D.C. That's coming. They tried to re-release this House report about ethics that Donald Trump overcharged people for the Secret Service for use of the D.C. hotel. But Donald Trump didn't run the D.C. hotel, so that's just nonsense. But they released all this, all time to steal votes and interfere with the election. Getting ready for duty at the October Beer Fest, second corporate evening at German Club, Port Elizabeth. Okay, that sounds cool. Biz News, why people are so... Oh, Biz News said that. Okay. I don't know about business, okay? So 30% are here to say no upping. Huh? Well done, back to the 30. Just, I have no idea what you're writing there, Val. No, I wanted to do a video about this topic, but the problem is that if I put the video on my phone, I'm not at Wi-Fi, I'm not at home, and it would take forever to upload on my phone, drain my battery, then I wouldn't be able to do a live later on. So I went to this channel to do a live to talk about the October surprise. Man, that sun is scorching my back right now. Wow. There's no seats out here. I can in shade. I'd love to get in the shade. Unfortunately, crossing the creek is about a 3 meter. I can't get across it, or I could just jump and sit down there on the edge of the stream. Maybe I can do it over here. But this thing is scorching me. I'm going to move around, folks, because this is rough. And I'll just point the phone higher up at me. So I had my tripod. I could get my tripod out. We could do that. If you guys are patient enough and thought about that. I'll do that for later, maybe. But let's see. I'm going to move because this is just too brutal. It's too brutal. I'm getting fried on my back there. Absolutely just scorching my back. So there's nowhere to sit here, unfortunately, other than where I was just at. So, all right. Yeah. So, actually, I could come over here, but then I need to get my tripod because there's nowhere to stand this thing. My car's over there. It's a little too far away. There's that sun again. Brutal. Now my back is still cooking from that thing. Anyway, right about here would be good if I just went and got my tripod. Let me do that. If you guys are patient with me, I'll get my tripod. It's in the car. I keep it along with the extended microphone in case I interview people, so you never know. I didn't plan on doing this, but that's just too wicked to sit in that sun. I mean, it's fall, but I mean, that's what happens. Stuff gets bright. So give me a second here. All right. So go back over the table and I'll put the tripod together and then I'll stand it up. Appreciate the patience, folks. We'll get back to the topic at hand here in just a couple minutes, but I mean, that sun is just, oof, man, wicked. It's supposed to pass Mark up to 50% in. Oh, yeah, no. I know. The VA's already abandoned their position. I talked about that yesterday. Siviwe Garuba has announced that for the time being, there's not going to be any effort to raise that to 50%. 50% is a joke. 70% is a minimum passing grade. Stay frosty. Yeah, 70% is a minimum passing grade. So this nonsense of 30%, is ridiculous. But the DA is desperate to be in power, desperate to be in government in South Africa, and so they'll do what they have to, which means not rock the boat. And they'll collect their paychecks, and then they'll run their banners and posters and claim that they contributed to improving and saving South Africa. And there'll be some merit to that, but they're not going to take the hard decisions that they should be taking because they're political cowards. Some of it's calculated, smart, strategic decisions, but not all of it. A lot of it's just stupidity. All right, tripod is nearly ready. Okay, this up. Okay, where's my crank? There we go. Okay, and I'll try to put this so that we don't get too much wind interference because it's pretty windy out here right now. Okay. The weather's cool, but the sun, sun is brutal because it's a fall, winter sun. Okay. Take this case and come on. All right, got it. Oh, you're getting a little too close to my face there now. Yeah, here's good, but is the wind bad? Can you guys, how's that wind doing? Is the wind brutal? Is it too much for you guys? No, that's actually pretty good right there. It's quite windy though, so I might be able to turn it away from the wind a little bit more. I can actually see the chat now. Somewhat coolish, absolutely. What's this? All right, now as soon as I set my tripod up, it's like freaking, God had a decision that I shouldn't be out here. Now it's like I'm in a hurricane with this wind all of a sudden. Trying to blame Assad for what happened. Oh, please. Okay. BRICS are taking themselves up and supported by Davos. I don't know if it's supported by Davos, but they're certainly talking themselves up. All right, so it stopped. Yeah, hurricane force winds. Well, now they stopped. So, back to the point. So, the October surprises are smears directed against one of the candidates, in this case, Donald Trump. And last night, it's almost as if the entire thing was orchestrated. The Atlantic article comes out just so Kamala Harris can walk out from the White House, or from the vice president's residence, to a press conference to spend 4 minutes denigrating Donald Trump, calling him a fascist. He's not a fascist. He's been president, and he didn't behave in a fashion that resembles fascism. He didn't. He obeyed the law whenever anyone opposed his efforts and went to the federal courts to stop his action and executive orders, or his budget efforts, or trying to apply money from the national security and defense budget to the wall. He stopped the activity until the case was resolved by the circuit courts or the appeals court. So this is just nonsense. This is all they have. And unfortunately, the behavior of people on January 6th is what supports this narrative. They can hoodwink people into believing he actually is a fascist. And, he tried to use the military against civilians, against our citizens. He sure did. What Donald Trump tried to do was on January 6th, he offered prior to that the mobilization of National Guard soldiers who are trained in riot control and controlling populations. That's what we do in the Guard, when I was in the Guard. He offered that 20,000 troops to the District of Columbia. The District of Columbia's mayor turned it down. And the Speaker of the House of Representatives, who was responsible for security at the Capitol grounds, Nancy Pelosi, turned it down. And then they try to say he wants to use the military against citizens. Well, no, he didn't do that. Didn't do that. Also talking about, using the military to attack Americans. That's just ridiculous. We do not take an oath to the leader. We take an oath to the President of the United States. It's as simple as that. And we don't make policy. Policy is made by politicians. We execute policy as long as it's lawful. We follow it. If it's not lawful, then we have an obligation not to follow it and disobey it and resign, most likely. This is just utter nonsense. They are so desperate to not lose, not to win. They're not desperate to win. They're desperate not to lose this election, that they'll say and do anything to win the election. Like I said, I'm waiting for the dossier for an OnlyFans account from, Duluth, Minnesota, for some 22-year-old to come out and say, bleach blonde, hey, Donald and I used to party together, in 1986. You weren't alive then, sweetheart. The holes in these things. John Kelly, Marine General, former chief of staff in the Trump administration for 2 years, has come out and said that Donald Trump is a fascist wannabe and yada, yada, yada. Where was this 2 years ago? I know he said some things when Trump first left office a while back, but he did. There we go. The sun is coming at me now again. He didn't do this book earlier. Woodward didn't release his book earlier. And we have all the paperwork. Paperwork for what? Background noise makes, what's this? Matches the noise in your head. It's funny. That's funny. Sounds like cancer in South Africa, dirty tricks. Yeah, no, it is. But I mean, that's the norm. That's what we call the October surprise. It's an element, a feature of U.S. presidential elections goes back decades. It's not a surprise. What is surprising is that they're doing so many of these things. They got the Woodward book. They've got the House Ethics Committee releasing this thing about Trump's hotel, which he didn't run, the Secret Service being overcharged. And then on top of that, we've got this John Kelly thing, the 2 articles in the Atlantic. All of it's coming out at the same time in this past week, all when she's collapsing. The blue wall is crumbling. Just another brick in the wall? No, another brick fell out of the wall. The blue wall's collapsing. Trump is ahead in Michigan, in Pennsylvania, in Georgia, in Arizona, Iowa, Wisconsin, Nevada, in virtually every poll. And they are gobsmacked how this could possibly be happening. What they don't understand is they don't understand Donald Trump. They also don't understand Americans. Now, many Americans vote for Donald Trump and don't like him. I don't really care for the guy, but I vote for him. They don't understand why people don't behave like good serfs that they want us to be. They don't understand why people are upset when our freedom of speech is impinged upon by the National Institute of Health, the Centers for Disease Control, the Department of Defense, the White House, by colluding, cajoling, or coercing tech companies to silence us illegally in violation of the First Amendment. They don't understand how some of us actually attended civics classes in junior high school and American government in high school, and understand how our system of governance works, and that they work for us, not us for them. So it really torques them off when the body politic pushes back against their horrible governance and their attempts to turn us into serfs. And they don't understand Trump and the phenomenon of Trump. But here's the thing. Remember how we've been treated with disdain, Americans, by our politicians? And none other than, of course, Barack Hussein Obama, who came to Pennsylvania and said he didn't understand why these people cling to their God and their guns. The most insulting of all comments you could possibly imagine. That was Barack Hussein Obama. And of course, Hillary Clinton called us all a basket of deplorables. And these are just the mild things that they say about Americans. We saw Kamala Harris just disrespect Catholics by not attending the Al Smith dinner. And then, sorry, I'm trying to find the right spot here. And then on top of that, feels like I'm walking around a stage. On top of that, she insults Christians when someone yells, "Jesus is Lord." Which, look, was inappropriate. Why would you say that? But, why attack the guy? Oh, you're at the wrong rally. This is who these people are. They're elites. They have no connection to reality. They think they're special. They think that you should walk around in clothes made out of hemp, and that you should, be freezing and have no children, or, just let immigrants come in and replace you. And so your German-American heritage, which has been here for 400 years, it shouldn't matter to be replaced by something else because you don't matter. And they don't care. They don't care about who you are. They don't care about this nation, its history. They distort everything. The 1619 Project from the New York Times, this idiocy, this lunacy that goes on. Kamala Harris lying about America and saying, "How dare you say Christmas? How dare you say Christmas?" Well, how dare you criticize a Judeo-Christian nation overwhelmingly populated by Christians? What is your problem, Kamala Harris? You're a hateful person, and you shouldn't push your values like that onto people. It's fascinating because yesterday, I said this on my radio program last night, I heard people on radio yesterday, driving to and from work, talking about college students, why they were voting for Kamala Harris. And so one answer was, well, I'm from the North. What exactly does that mean, you're from the North? North what? North of the Mason-Dixon line? And what does that mean? So that means you vote for Kamala Harris? She's from California. It's not North. Of course, I know what that means. The implication, the unstated dog whistle is that, well, I'm from the North and we're erudite and we're special people. It's not from the South where those hicks are, those racist. That was implied in that statement. So that's one. Another was like, well, I'm going to vote for Kamala Harris because she's nice. Nice? Have you ever talked to any people who work for Kamala Harris? She's one of the most evil people you're ever going to work for. She's abusive to her staff. She's violent. She's disrespectful, and she really torques a lot of people off. So there's that. Then the other one was, well, my parents told me I should vote for her. Okay. Or my parents are voting. You're going to vote for her because your parents are. I'm sorry. So do you not have agency? Are you not an adult? Can you not make decisions upon your own efforts? Seriously? That's just unbelievable. And then the best one, perhaps of all, was, I love this. Our roommate is a political science major, and she said we should vote for Kamala. Really? Yeah, these people have the right to vote in this country. And now you know why things are so skewed. They're not informed. They don't care to be informed. They're emotional. They are impulsive. And they are toxic. And this is how great nations fail. This is why democracy never works. It doesn't work. Democracy is mob rule. You can just convince 50 plus 1 that this is a good idea and 49 must suffer. Okay, we will, if you're a Christian, then, you pay extra taxes because you're a Christian. They can do that. It's not going to happen, but they can do that. It's just terrible. Just terrible. Why do we just go from 25 to 19 people? What's going on there, YouTube? Am I not responding? Is something going on there? Trump said countries are going to finally, pay us back for all we've done in the world. I don't know about that, Pablo. It'd be nice. A lot to thank our American friends for many, many things. Given my education in America, great country, great people. Thank you very much for that, Andre. Okay, greetings from Cape Town. It's Nathaniel. Thank you. Your incredible knowledge and informed. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. Obama is the one that said Americans need to give up their power to one sovereign. Yeah. Well, I wish to cover up that everyone. What's this? Hang on a second. Hang on a second. I can't read that. I got to get my glasses out here. Wish to cover up that every one of them up there in D.C. are in the Madam's Black Book from D.C. along with. You talking about the Mayflower Madam? Some of them. Mike of Outdoors with the Morgans did an excellent presentation in voting in this historic election. His reason on how he's voting, he believes all citizens have a responsibility to vote. Yeah, they do, but that doesn't mean. Hey, Ron, how's it going for Bluffton? I say thought. What? The sticks? Love Chris. Yeah, no. So that's what's going on here. And frankly, look, here's the problem. Donald Trump invites a lot of, stray voltage and dislike for himself because of his bombastic, larger-than-life ego. But look, he's a successful entrepreneur, successful businessman, a serial business developer, incredibly wealthy man who's accomplished so much in his life. He's entitled to an ego, an outsized ego. You expect that from someone like that. But the problem is that if he has any missteps, they're magnified immediately. The whole thing with McDonald's, oh, it's so fake. Well, of course it's fake. Did you think that Kamala Harris taking stage photographs on Air Force Two with an earpiece that wasn't even properly in her ear, pretending to talk to the governor of North Carolina for video, you think that wasn't staged? You think that Kamala Harris, the vice president, showing up in North Carolina 8 days after Hurricane Helene, walking around with the Tubalard governor of North Carolina, giving her a photo op and pretending she's in charge, wearing this vest, this huge ass logo for the vice president we've never seen before. It fills up the entire chest over here. You think that wasn't staged? You think that's, she has no role in North Carolina. She doesn't control FEMA. She does nothing with the government there. This is total fiction. What do people think? Of course it's staged. It's a political campaign. Everything that's happening at this point is staged. And here's the problem. Neither candidate is talking about the real issues in this country. Now, Trump has talked about some of the issues, the border and insecurity and gangs and stuff like that, and Ukraine and Israel. But no one's talking about the debt, the deficit. $2 trillion this year alone. Joe Biden has already added $5.4 trillion to the national debt. And he will add another $2 trillion this year. Now, not all that's on him, but it's his budget. It'll play out after he leaves office. So that's $7.5 trillion. Now, he was topped by his buddy Barack Obama, who put 8 more on there. Roman Abramovich is in Israel himself. I don't know. What's the point? Teacher always said the best form of governance is democracy. Yeah. Well, that's the thing. That's why a representative republic is the right answer. It's the best solution for all this stuff. It really is. So, it's really a shame. So, YouTube is so terrified of my channel. Right now, I have 21,400 plus subscribers, and there's 24 people here. That's 1/10 of 1% of the viewing audience. Why aren't they getting notified? Why aren't they here? 26, we jumped. Now, when you guys chat, the more you chat, the more comments, the more hearts you push, that could push it up where YouTube exposes this to other people, but you never know. Anyway, so I'm really thirsty here, sorry. But you can see it's fall in season here. It's a beautiful time here. This is my favorite time. We get to November, it starts to get a little chillier. It's not quite the same, but right now, the weather's just stunningly gorgeous. It was way too hot the past few days, but that sun is brutal, man. The problem is that the Earth is tilted, It tilts its axis in the wintertime. We get away from the sun, but we get a sharper angle. It's not high or above, and so you get a sharper angle. It hits you from the side. See, now you guys are chatting. The numbers have gone up to 31. Thanks for tuning in, folks. So we're talking about the October surprises. The October surprises thus far have been Bob Woodward's book. Yeah, I do need to hydrate, Debbie, but that's inside. Bob Woodward's book, the 2 Atlantic articles, Kamala Harris coming out and calling Donald Trump a fascist. This is all orchestrated, all coordinated. There's no way that it's just happenstance that these things are going on. And then, of course, once again, the wrong-headed effort by the Democrats to get celebrities to rock up and endorse Kamala Harris. Here's the important thing, folks, if you need to know about this election. Unions, by and large, have not endorsed Kamala Harris. Newspapers have refused to endorse Kamala Harris. This is unheard of. Newspapers, with a few exceptions, they're conservative newspapers, but most newspapers, major newspapers in America, historically endorse the Democratic president over and over and over again. There are exceptions. And the unions always endorse the Democratic president for decades. They're not doing it. Black men are torching Kamala Harris on TikTok and Twitter, but especially on TikTok. It is all over the place. It's failing. Muslims in Michigan angry at Kamala Harris and Joe Biden. Christian Arabs in Michigan angry at them. And Michigan has turned now in favor of Donald Trump. It has been for over a week. But we don't know what's going to happen, folks. Every state has goofy election laws now. They've all been distorted by the lawsuits that were filed by the Democrats and their lawyers in 2017 that led to changes in 2020. And this is, everybody knows this. Hey, Lenny, how's it going? This is Barack Obama's third term, going fourth term. If I could sit in the basement in my jogging pants with an earpiece around the country, you know. Yeah, gotcha. Yeah. No, but he's not sitting in the basement with an earpiece. He's busy out pretending he's Eminem. You know, my palms are sweaty. He's trying to rap, you know. Unbelievable. But Eminem lost all of his credibility, too. But that was some time ago, actually. Sam Sun is much better rapper than he ever was. Earth's actual tilt is 23.5 degrees. That's correct. Yep. That's why the sun is at an angle in the wintertime, because we spin around. Anyway, yeah, so I got off track there by answering the chat. Sorry about that. I got a little bit off chat there. Anyway, so for the news program today on the other channel, the main channel, the reason I'm here is because I was surfing this morning. They hide you and many of my other lawyer friends. Yeah, they do, Lenny. They absolutely hide me. My recommendation is to join one of the Telegram or WhatsApp groups. Some people like to join a WhatsApp group because your telephone number is available. You want people to know your telephone number. I get that. You can hide your telephone number and mask it in Telegram. We have groups for people to be notified. Now, for this one, I didn't do it, but they normally get notified of my scheduled live streams and also, especially for my studio, and of my prepared videos. So thank you, Lenny. Thank you for being here. Appreciate it. Yeah, no, they do hide me. They hide my content, and it's very successful. I still don't know how I did a video on Donald Trump that broke the algorithm and is up to 107,000 views or something like that from last week. I don't know how that happened on this channel. It's been so long. Just good to see you on the call, Maureen. Maureen, hey, first time here. 7 a.m. having call. Okay, 7 a.m. It must be, what, in the Mountain Time Zone? Hey, welcome, Maureen. Thanks for being here. Well, there's a few people here that don't know me, so maybe I should introduce myself so you know who I am and why I'm talking about this. So for those you don't know, and my regular viewers that have been with this channel since the inception of me doing this after retiring from active service, and then followed me to the new channel when this one was censored and hidden by YouTube for 2 years. So probably because I dropped it under, could be. Okay, so here you go. I'm Chris Wyatt, retired U.S. Army colonel. Served 36.5 years in the Army, 23 years overseas. I served 3 tours of duty in Germany, 1 in Italy. In Africa, I was stationed in Tunisia, Liberia, Botswana, Malawi, Niger, Mauritania, Uganda, and Ethiopia. I worked for the African Union. I did peacekeeping. I rebuilt the armed forces of Liberia after the Civil War. I designed the intelligence infrastructure for the Botswana Defense Force, ran HIV programs, tuberculosis research programs, built schools and clinics, ran exercises, hunted terrorists, served in multiple combat tours, was a Desert Storm veteran, and Operation Enduring Freedom veteran as well. And I worked at the National Security Agency, where I ran a $3 billion program as chief of staff. I worked at the Defense Intelligence Agency, wrote for the President of the United States. I taught at Iowa State University, taught postgraduate at the Army War College, served at U.S. Africa Command, U.S. European Command. I'm a published author in academic circles with Stellenbosch University in South Africa and with the Army War College. I'm published in popular press as well. I'm also a rugby journalist. I'm an energy industry analyst. Take your pick. I'm a jack of all trades on many different things. And my bona fides frighten YouTube, and so they hide me. And you're in Oregon. Okay, so 3. Okay. Well, it must be 10 o'clock then already here. I didn't realize it was time. Southern Oregon, you're very welcome. Okay, cool. Damn, that's impressive CV, Chris. See why I like the USA. Well, look, I'm just scratching the surface because I'm trying to be modest here. But if you look me up, you'll find a lot of stuff, a lot more. I mean, well, here's one. I'll just throw this out there just because I'm not proud of it, but I mean, it's kind of cool. I worked at the National Security Agency, and I wrote a president's state briefing with President Bush, which led to 640,000 people in Africa not starving to death. True story, not made up. Anyway, now the numbers are dropping. I started talking about myself, so I'll stop doing that. From 25 to 16 when I started talking, 27. Lost 11 people. What's YouTube doing taking people away? Anyway, but with the October surprises, it really is that. It's October surprises, folks. Yeah, I'm a beekeeper as well, and I speak 6 languages, yada, yada, yada. See, there's more stuff, man. Anyway, yeah, and now I'm a judge of elections, and I'm a consultant and a journalist, independent journalist traveling the world at my own expense, mind you, to bring the world news. And then also I am, I'm involved with Veterans Affairs as well. So yeah, I do quite a bit. I'd love to be the ambassador to South Africa. I'd love to do that job. Yeah, but if there's a Harris administration, that will never happen. The Trump administration, that'd be a pipe dream, but it would be a possibility under that administration. But the October surprises are not unusual. It's something that comes. But the problem I think that the Democrats have done and Kamala Harris has done is they've put too many October surprises into the frying pan. So those who've yet to decide, who haven't voted, because over 15, 16 million people have already voted by absentee or early voting or mail-in ballots, those who haven't voted, who are undecided, which is probably about 8% of the voters, this is just going to confuse the issue. Which is it? Is he a fascist? Did he say this? Did he do that? Was he terrible to the Mexican Mexican-American veteran who was murdered? And, you know, it's all about just putting labels out there, and I think they're overdoing it. A lot of people are seeing through it. In the past, you wouldn't see that. But as I said, we saw the interview with the college students, and a lot of them are not very bright. I'm telling you, not very bright at all. They couldn't see through any of this nonsense. Government, keep up the work you're doing. We are watching. Well, thank you, Lenny. I just wish more people were. He is a genius. 3 billion views globally. Yep. Any idea where reports from Western Carolina can be obtained regarding flood relief? No, I do not know. I have not been spending time focusing on that. Bring Trump on trip here and be his ambassador. Yeah. No, Andre, she's not president. She's not vice president. She's not senator. She's not anything material. She's got nothing. I got to hold on to my tripod because the wind's picking up here. Always film the government. Always film the cops. Yeah, no. Yeah. I have hours of footage from January 6th to refute all of the narratives that were put out there. Yep. Anyway, so I reported that as a journalist. I was in D.C. covering events that day. I left before what happened at the Capitol building. That hadn't happened yet. So anyway, but yeah. So viewers have climbed slightly. Yeah, says Robert. Yeah, a little bit. Back up 25. So anyway, it's people must be popping in and out. So I love watching body cam footage. You got from cops, you mean? Or that's interesting, I suppose. I like the dash cams. Yeah, those are pretty good because you can hear the radio inside as they go out. So anyway, I'm going to wrap it up here, folks. I will do my news program a little bit later on at Colonel Chris Wyatt. And that'll be coming up a little bit later. We'll talk about the news and events around the world, starting in Africa and working our way around. And so I'll decide whether I'm going to sit or stand because this was a half hour and mostly stood here and I'm okay. But at least we got the sun out of my face. So, all right. You guys are welcome. Thanks for being here. Be sure to hit the like button. South Africa's behavior in a go is per example. Trump means America is getting ripped off. Yes, we are. We're getting ripped off by so many, but mostly getting ripped off by our politicians at the federal and the state level. And that's just sad. It's one reason why I ran for office this year. Didn't win, though. Didn't win. Cheers, everybody. Thanks a lot. Be sure to hit the like button. Catch you later.